Okay, so odds and converting odds to probability. So now we're starting shifting gears, but they're very much related, right? Odds and probability are related. Watch this. Odds are similar to probability, but what's so unique about odds? The odds does not show the total number of outcomes. Does not show the total number of outcomes. Odds compare the number of desired events, right? So odds compares desired versus undesired events. And here are three different ways of thinking of odds. Okay? Desired versus undesired. Is something happening versus something not happening. So they're comparing. Or in favor, against. Favor, against. Sometimes we use for, against. Okay, you can go for, against. 4 different ways actually now, right? I just ruined it. Okay, so all of these are saying the exact same thing, but sometimes for some folks, one is better than the other, okay? I tend to stick to this one here, for, against. That's what I tend to work with most of the time. All right. So for example, if you wanted to talk about odds of rain and you go 3 to 5, okay, and you call this odds of rain. Odds of rain. Write that down. That means that, right, this tells us that out of 8, right, out of 8 possible days, where did I get the 8 from? You see that 5 and 3, right? 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. That's how I come up with the total. Out of 8 possible days, 3 out of 8 chances of rain. That's what this is saying. 3 out of 8 chances of rain, 5 out of 8 chances it does not rain. Okay, so basically, that's where my 2 colors are going to come in. Okay, the 3 gave me that, and the 5 is basically the numerator for the against. Okay, so remember I told you that the probability of something happening and something not happening is what? 100%, right? Or 1. If you added up 3 out of 8 and 5 out of 8, you would get 8 out of 8, which is 1. Okay, so odds are kind of ignoring the total though. If you think of odds, it ignores the total. So keep that in mind. So we can write two probabilities from the odds we are given. See how I came up with 2 probabilities from the odds? Okay, so every time you have something like this, every time you have the colon like this number would allow us to come up with the probability in favor of something happening. And the second number would allow us to come up with the probability against something happening. And watch this. What happens in the denominator every single time? What do we do with these 2 numbers? We always add them together. So I will show that. Favor, I'll highlight them both in the same color, right? For me it's green, so favor it's green. And against is like that. All right? So here we go. This is probably one that I would say add it to your study sheet. I would definitely say study sheet, okay? Make sure, I would, and compress it, obviously, but this is gonna help you out. Okay, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna try different ways to get to you, to get it to stick. But when I ask you to go from odds to probability, the first thing you should do is add them up and put it in the denominator. Add them up, put it in the denominator, right? I may only ask you for one of them. What's the probability of it snowing? You know, you have to take that top number up there, add up these two to get the denominator. I may only ask you what's the probability of it not snowing. You know, you have to use that second number. These are both going to be numbers like that. You put it there, and remember, always add these two to get your denominator. That's something to remember, okay? So let's try it out. Let's work with it, okay? Here we go. The odds of the Jets winning the next game are 8-2, okay? And here are some important key words. Odds, obviously we know these are odds because of this, right? The colon. But what comes next? Of the Jets winning, okay? This is important. Of the Jets winning. What that is telling me, let's go with an arrow from it. What that is telling me is that the first number is going to be win, and the second number is going to be, what does this mean? Not winning, which is lose, but I'm going to stick with not, okay? That's what I'm going to stick with. So because of the way it's worded, guys, the odds of the Jets winning, this is the event. Winning is what we're after. We know that the first is winning, the second one is not winning. Okay? So this is win, this is not win. We know that. So explain what the numbers represent. Okay? It means this. Out of 10 games, where did I get the 10 from again? 8 and 2, yeah. We would expect the Jets to win 8 times and lose 2 times. Well, out of 10 games. So every time you count 10 games, you would tend to see this pattern. Okay? That's what that means. So this is just explaining it. State the odds against the Jets winning the next game. When I ask you for odds and you see this word against, what that means is odds against winning. That means that you put the win here, okay? And the not winning is going to go over here. You essentially flip the 4. This is odds in favor of winning. This is odds against winning. Think about it. You're saying against winning. You put the win across from you, right? Against you. This is always the first. So in this sense, we would say 2 to 8. We basically just flip original. If you have the odds in favor of something and they ask you for odds against that very same thing, just flip the numbers. Okay, just flip them. Okay, so it asks for odds, right? Let's shift gears here. State the probability. What's that? What's that? State the what? Probability, not the odds. The probability of the Jets winning the next game. So we want probability of win Therefore, it's going to be win over win plus not win. Say what? Remember, 8-2. This represents win. This represents not win. Where did I get that from? Right from the very original statement. Right from here. And so we would go 8 over 8 plus 2. So the probability of winning is 8 over 10. That's it. That's 80%, right? That's 0.8 for 80%. This is what I see a lot. Oh, the probability is 8 over 2. 8 over 2, does that make sense? Didn't I tell you the denominator always has to be greater than the numerator? Always, right? So if you just want to go 8 over 2, it's going to be wrong. State the probability of the Jets losing. You have a couple of ways to do this. You can go off of this. Probability of lose. You can go 1 minus 0.8. That's 0.2. Or you can go 100% minus 80%. That's 20%. Or, slow down, Mr. Dirksen, you're going too fast. Put the brakes on. Or, probability of lose. I'm going to go back to, look, I'm going to cover up the probability that I just found. And I'm going to go back to the odds here, or you can go the odds way up there. But I know that this is the losing, this is the not winning. So I'm going to put that on top. And I know that I have to add these two to come up with the correct denominator. So that'd be 2 over 10. All of these are acceptable because I'm not asking you to state it in a certain format. They all would have been acceptable. Every single one of them. Okay. Go to 17. I'm going to let you fly solo already. I know it's scary. Question? Oh, you're stretching. I'm going to ask you to start dealing with odds and probability. For the most part, guys, listen carefully. I try to cap the keyword. Is it odds? Is it probability? What is it? If it is odds, you better have a statement that has the colon, right? Otherwise, it's going to be wrong. If it's probability, you kind of want a fraction, right? Out of that. So see how well you do. I'm not too concerned right now if you get it wrong, as long as you try, because then tomorrow I can correct it and clarify any mistakes or misconceptions, okay? I'm going to pause it here for now and let you work for the next.